Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden and welcome to my June back garden tour. If you haven't had a chance to see my June front garden tour, check it out. I will link it in the description down below, as well as at the end of this video. Everything is looking absolutely beautiful. Now, I live in a California ranch home, and California ranch homes are often designed to kind of curve around the back so that the back garden is almost enclosed by the home. And the purpose of that is to have it be a space for the family to congregate, to work, to hang out, to live. And that is exactly how I've designed my back garden. I consider my back garden as kind of my working garden where I have all of my cut flowers growing. I'm not a huge veggie gardener, but I do have a couple tomatoes growing that are looking really, really good. And this is just a place that my family and I can come, we can hang out, we can live. So let me turn the camera around and I'm going to show you all what's going on in June in my back garden. All right, so here's a little overview of my back garden. You can see I have my cut flower rows and then my greenhouse and then my office over there. And then on the other side of the office, I have my Vigo raised bed. So I'll show you all what's going on. First of all, I'll talk about my trees right up front. And this is my October Glory maple. I am in love with this tree. I cannot wait till it gets big and tall. And it gives us a little bit of shade in this area. It's early in the morning and the sun is just coming up. So you'll see as this garden tour goes on, this area of shade is going to get less and less. This is definitely a full sun back garden, except for over by my Chinese pistache tree over there. That's where the chicken coop is and my little shade garden. So I'll show you that. That is my absolute favorite tree on the property. I think it's a given that it would be my favorite tree on the property. In the fall, a Chinese pistache turns a bright red color and it is just so stunning. And that was, it was such a joy to realize that it was a Chinese pistache on this property when we bought it. It was very, very exciting. One tree that's not doing so well is my silver dollar eucalyptus tree. I actually got this tree from my friend Raphael at Park Winters. He grew them from seed and he has a whole bunch of them. We tried transplanting it. Unfortunately, it did not take. I was worried about it. I thought it was going to just be stressed out for this whole year, but it is officially dead. It is not happy, and you could see break this branch because it's pretty brittle at this point. So this tree is going to be coming out. I'm not totally sure what I want to do in place of it. I'll have to decide. I have a couple ideas of other things that I want to do in this back garden back here. So I just I'm just going to basically think about it. This tree right here, though, it is perfectly getting shined on by the sun. It is so gorgeous. This is called a Roman candle podocarpus. And I love podocarpus. I have podocarpus in my front garden. They're an evergreen for us in zone 9 and above. And this is a new variety that is a variegated podocarpus. And this guy gets enough sun that it is quite variegated. It is almost white. It is really, really neat. If you give this a little bit more shade, then it gets more green, but it's really, really fun to see. It's such a beautiful plant, and you can see it absolutely glows in the sun. So those are the big trees that I have so far. Of course, I have my olive trees. I have three olive trees, really old olive trees that I love. I'm so excited about. I am having an arborist come in and kind of clean them up in a couple days. And then I do have my neighbor's trees surrounding everywhere. So those are the big structures that I have in my garden. And I don't think I'm going to be adding too many more big structures because I definitely want to have my raised beds open so that it can have some sun. If you hear the goats next door, it is feeding time. They get absolutely crazy around feeding time. So that's what that sound is. It's so funny. I always crack up because I live out in the country, like way out in the country, but we have so many animals here. We have a lot of ag here. So there's a lot of trucks and tractors driving on the road. And I also live near a very small airport, the type of airport where airplanes will go up and they will crop duster planes. That's what I'm trying to say. So I live out in the country, but this is quite an active property, especially feeding time for goats. So if you hear that, those are my goat neighbors back there, and they're happy when it's feeding time. All right, anyway, let me take you quickly over here to my secret garden. This is the north side of my house, and this garden has been quite a work in progress because I just keep kind of running up against issues. I know what I'm going to do for the secret garden. I have plans for it. I just kind of have to get it done. When I first started moving in here, I thought this was a full shade garden, but it wasn't. I realized that it's a sun transition garden in that during the winter, the sun is so low in the sky that it gets full shade from the house. But in the summer, the sun is so high up that it gets full sun. So it's a very interesting garden that you kind of have to think about a little bit. And that's what's been going on. If you see my dead thuyas right there, that is because they got missed for drip irrigation, which is basically the story of our life here. Jason and I are not the best at being really good at putting drip irrigation on. We often miss plants. And we're learning, we're trying to get systems in place, but those just need to be replaced, which isn't a big deal because thuyas are pretty cheap. But you can kind of see the idea of what we were going for the thuyas in all four corners of this more formal garden as compared to other parts of my garden that are a lot more loose, a lot more casual, and a lot more kind of mass planted, where this garden is going to be much more formal. I am planning to have boxwood hedges right here, and then Jason is helping me get these hog panels, that we painted. We're hanging them on the fence right here, and then I'm going to be planting some star jasmine this week to grow up this area to cover our ugly fence, which I do not like our ugly fence. I will do anything to cover our ugly fence. And then I have one of my favorite plants here. This is a surefire white begonia. It is so beautiful. One of the reasons why I planted this here is because this is a sun transition garden, and surefire begonias can handle full shade, and it can also handle full sun. So it doesn't matter what time of year it is. These plants are super happy. They have overwintered for us, and they are just looking absolutely beautiful. And there's such a wonderful pop of white in this garden. I don't have a color theme in this garden. I'm not going for all white or anything like that. But now that I see the surefire white there, I'm thinking I need a little bit more white in this garden for sure. I do have this hydrangea over here. This is a big leaf hydrangea that was gifted to me, so I unfortunately don't know the name of that hydrangea. It's in a pot. It needs to be transplanted, but I got to find a good place for it. And then right here, these are my false hydrangea vines that I am growing up the stucco wall here, and these will get about 40 feet tall as they grow. But you can see they're just babies. They're just getting started growing up the garden. So this secret garden is definitely a work in progress. All right, so then I have this fence right here, and this fence was just this open, long spot that I didn't know what I was going to do here, and I decided to plant a whole mass of summerific hibiscus ballet slippers, and I am so happy I did because they're going to grow in, they're going to be beautiful, they're going to have these gorgeous blooms. Because they are underneath my neighbor's trees right here, they do get a little bit more shade, but I think that they will be able to handle it no problem, and it'll keep them kind of protected for the super hot parts of the summer. So I see one bloom down here that I'm coming to show you guys. These guys are also relatively new. Oh look, I have buds everywhere, so they're about to go crazy. These guys are relatively new, and I planted them bare root last summer. So they're not even a year old. So they're gonna grow up and they're gonna develop. And I'm really excited to have this mass planting of summerific hibiscus, and I think it's gonna be beautiful. Now, unfortunately, summerific hibiscus, they do die back in the wintertime. So I would like to interplant these with something that's more evergreen. I'm just not totally sure what I'm going to plant yet, but I will think of something, maybe something growing up the fence or something like that. I think that that'll be fun. All right, now let me take you this way so I can show off my cut flower beds or my raised beds, but they're really not raised beds. They are no-till beds. So these metal garden beds right here, they're only there to hold in the compost that I put on top of the native soil. It's hard to see because they're completely full right now, but basically all I did was I put cardboard down over my native soil, I put 6 inches of compost, and I planted directly into that. And the beds are just to kind of hold the compost in place, but you really don't even need to have these metal beds here. And it works so beautifully. You can see how well everything is growing. I am so happy with it. It was cheaper to do that rather than to install raised beds and fill them all the way up. And it's also better for the plants because they're actually growing down into the native soil, which I'm just absolutely in love with. So these two front beds right here, these beds are filled with my zinnias. And this is just a giant mix of all different kinds of zinnias, which I think is so fun. I love having zinnias in these front beds because I know these zinnias are going to bloom all season long. I'm going to have this beautiful, beautiful color here, and I'm loving it. I do have to say the main color that I've been cutting on for the bouquets in my home is the orange color that's here. Look at how beautiful that is. And it is just the orange makes other flowers like my dahlias or my sunflowers kind of pop. So if you haven't planted orange zinnias, plant orange zinnias. These I'm pretty sure are the Benary's Giant. Most of these I think are Benary's Giant, but then there was a couple other varieties that I don't think are Benary's. I have no rhyme or reason to what zinnias I planted. I just planted all of them and I love all of them. I think they look so beautiful. Now, interspersed in this bed, you will see some dahlias coming through. And that is because last year in this bed, I planted seed dahlias from Floret and they looked really, really good. And I thought I got all the tubers out, but I didn't. So I live in zone 9B. So dahlia tubers we can leave in the ground. They'll overwinter and they'll come back. But you can see, as you can see, they're starting to bloom. I decided to just leave them. I ripped out the old dahlias, planning to put zinnias in this year, and I must have missed a couple tubers. A couple tubers must have got left in there. Look at this one. And now I have dahlias mixed in with this bed, which I don't think is a bad thing. I think it still looks really, really pretty. And I'll be interested to see what dahlias come up throughout here. On the post, growing up the post, these are my Cascade hops. I wanted something that would grow really, really fast up these posts. So I ordered some hops rhizomes actually off of Amazon. They were actually really, really hard to find. I wanted to find hops rhizomes that could handle my heat, and the Cascade variety was supposed to be able to handle my heat really, really well. So I planted them in all 4 corner beds. These did really well. The back ones did really well. Unfortunately, this bed, they did not take, and I tried taking cuttings of these and planting them in there again, and they just got smothered by the zinnias. So it's a little off kilter this year, but I hopefully will be able to order more hops rhizomes next year and plant them in this bed. Really, I want all of these posts to be covered with the hops. I think that that'll be really pretty. I should say, just because I know a lot of you are going to write it in the comments, that hops are pretty invasive. They spread by rhizomes. You do have to be careful and make sure that you keep it kind of in check. And if you're worried about that, don't plant hops because they will spread if you let them get out of hand. So let's see, this bed right here, these are my dahlias. Look at how beautiful they are. So some of these varieties I've gotten from my friend Kate from Hello Garden. This is probably my favorite one, this white one right here. Look at how beautiful that is. And I cannot tell you guys how much of these I've been cutting off of for bouquets in my home. This pink one's really pretty. This pink one I need to stake up. I haven't done that. These over here in this next section, these were actually some of my seed dahlias that I grew, and I really liked this variety. I thought this variety was so beautiful. To me, it mimics the sunset. This is west facing, and when the sun is setting behind this dahlia, it absolutely matches the sunset. I have a picture of it. If I find it, I'll put it on the screen right now. It is so beautiful. So I knew I had to save this dahlia. I transplanted it over here, and I was really worried that it wasn't going to transplant well, but it did. And then I have other dahlias over here that transplanted well as well. These were more of my seed dahlias. You can see these right here. Aren't those gorgeous? And then right here, I have some really beautiful dark calla lilies that are looking gorgeous. These are not going to stay here. These are going to go into my garden someplace, but I haven't decided where yet. And I feel like I've been saying that for a year, but I will find a spot eventually to put these beautiful calla lilies. They're absolutely gorgeous, but I don't think that I want them in my cut flower beds. I want them somewhere else. This bed back here, this is where my garlic was. I harvested my garlic. It's delicious. It's amazing. Then I have some sunflowers right here. This one right here, this is called the Delta sunflower. Is that what it was called? Delta something? It's a California native sunflower. Oh my God, there's no way I'm going to be able to find that. I'll put it on the screen. This is the Delta sunflower, which is a California native sunflower. These are the sunflowers that you see growing on the side of the freeway here. So they will grow. They will be really, really happy. Then I have some really beautiful Rudbeckia all around here. Look at how gorgeous this kind is. So just so many plants that I can cut from for my cut flower garden. I'm pretty sure there's a bird's nest in there because when I walked out here earlier, right before I started filming, I saw some baby birds running around here. They went over that way, but I'm pretty sure there's a bird's nest there. So I'm going to be careful messing around in there. And then this bed right here, this is another sunflower bed with just a whole bunch of different kinds of sunflowers. Really, really beautiful. These are buttercream yellow. Isn't that gorgeous? Such a beautiful pale yellow color. This one is strawberry blonde. That one, that's buttercream. This is the Delta sunflower, the native sunflower right there. And then I think this one is another. Actually, I don't know what this one is. Let me see. Oh, this is Desert Sun. Isn't that neat? That one's beautiful. I have to come cut that one. And then back here in these last two beds, they were open and I didn't really know what I was going to do with them. But my friend Claudia from In the Garden with Claudia, she has a YouTube channel. She is dahlia obsessed. And when I say obsessed, I mean obsessed. And she has some of her favorite dahlias and she sent me a bunch of the tubers this year. I planted 10 of the tubers in my front garden and then I didn't have room for any more. So I decided to plant the rest of them back here in these back two beds. So I have these bamboo canes so that I can corral them in when they start growing, but they're starting to grow. They're starting to sprout, which I'm really excited to see them. This one is Labyrinth. This one is Bodacious. There's just all these different varieties, but they're varieties that Claudia has told me that she absolutely loves and she thinks that I definitely need to grow. So I'm growing them, Claudia. I'm so excited about them. I can't wait till they start blooming. So really with my cut flower garden, I have blooms upon blooms upon blooms to grow or to cut from. The one thing that I don't have here that I forgot this year is I forgot any foliage, any greenery. So that is something that I am definitely missing, but I am just using other things around the garden. I tried using the hops as some greenery in my, like filler in my cut flowers. But for those of you who know, hops are like, they're almost like Velcro. I don't even want to touch it. And I could not arrange the bouquet using hops. It was so hard for me. So don't try that. Trust me, don't try that. Anyway, back here is my greenhouse. My greenhouse, unfortunately, doesn't get used too much in the summer because it just gets a little too hot, but I think it still looks really, really beautiful, so I can enjoy it until it cools down and then I can start using it again. But all around my greenhouse this year, I decided to plant almost like a moon garden. Up on these stakes, I have solar lights from HoseLink. They're really beautiful. They're so beautiful at night. And the light of the solar lights reflect off the white color of the moon garden back here, where I have Stratosphere White Gara in the back. And then I have Supertunia Vista Snowdrift. I have some Euphorbia, Diamond Frost Euphorbia euphorbia, iceberg roses, and then these are little olive topiaries, which are looking absolutely beautiful. And I just love this combination. I think it is so gorgeous. I was a little iffy about the euphorbia, the diamond frost euphorbia, but as it heated up, they filled out and it's looking really, really beautiful. And I'm just so happy with it. Behind the iceberg roses, I do have some pink jasmine growing up the back, which is done blooming for the year, but it has some beautiful greenery to it, which I'm definitely happy about. So really gorgeous. I do need to add more to my moon garden, but that's kind of as far as I got. One thing that I definitely want to do though is I want to extend out the stratosphere white Gara. Gara is a perennial for me here, thank goodness, and I want to kind of plant that all around. I think that that'll be so pretty and be like the greenhouse is almost like on a cloud, which I think will be absolutely gorgeous. My center stage pink crepe myrtles are blooming, which is really exciting. These guys are babies. I just planted them. They're just starting to grow, but at least you can see the color that they're going to be. They are going to get about 10 feet tall. So as they grow up, they're going to kind of surround the back of the greenhouse, which I think will look really pretty. But they're this gorgeous color, and then they have these dark leaves back here, which are really, really beautiful. I am dealing with a little bit of powdery mildew on some of them, so I do have to spray for that, but some of them are doing really, really well. So I'm excited to have them. Look at this one. That looks terrible. I got to spray that for sure. All right, so I came back up to the front so I could show you all the front of my office. This is my little office that I have here on the property. It was one of the main reasons why we bought this house, because at my last house, I was using my master closet as my office, which was not fun at all. But now I have this lovely little office in the backyard that is away from everybody. So while I'm editing my videos or having meetings or Zoom calls or anything like that, I have a space that I can go to. And of course, I want my office to look pretty, and so in front of my office I have these two stock tanks that I am in love with the combination that is planted in them. First off, I have some purple fountain grass that I wanted to do so that come fall, when I take all the summer flowers out, I can have this purple fountain grass as kind of my backdrop for whatever fall plants I plant. So I definitely wanted to have that in there. And then I have one of my favorite plants from Proven Winners, which is plain the blue salvia. It is such a gorgeous plant, and it just keeps blooming all season long, and there are always bees on it. It's just the best plant. In front of that, I have sun-credible sunflowers. I did have a different variety of sunflower in here, and it was not blooming. It absolutely was not blooming. So I took it out and I put my tried and true sun-credible sunflowers, and I'm so happy that I did that. These guys will get about 4 feet tall. So by the end of the summer, they are going to be pretty tall, almost taller than the purple fountain grass, but I think I'm okay with it because I just think that they're so beautiful. And then underneath that, I have my Super Tunia Vista bubblegum that we all know will eventually get down to the ground here, and it's just big and beautiful and a gorgeous color, and I am just loving these combinations of the stock tanks right here. Last year I had a whole bunch of terracotta pots in front of here, which I really like that look as well, but I do like the stock tanks. I think that they're a little bit more streamlined and simple, and they make the flowers shine as opposed to just looking like I have a whole bunch of pots in front. But I really did like both of them. Just off to the right, I have my Crown Princess Margareta rose that I'm a little worried about. It's not the best place for this rose, but it's on its second flush of blooms, and it's absolutely beautiful. It is a climbing rose, and so I did put these eye hooks in here, hoping that it will climb up eventually, but I don't know. It's just not great soil in this spot, so I could take these out and I could put them in a pot, or I could just find something else. I did plant some purple hyacinth bean vine down here, and I was hoping that maybe could grow up onto the office, but that got smothered very quickly, and I should have known it was going to get smothered very quickly. So that didn't work, but that's okay. Let me take you guys this way and show you the back of my office. This rose right here, this is one of my favorite roses. I had to have this in my garden. This is Gertrude Jekyll, named after the English gardener and landscape designer Gertrude Jekyll. I love this pink color rose. I love it. I love it. The only thing I don't love about this rose is it is thorny. It is so thorny. So deadheading this is definitely very tough. But this is another climbing rose, and I'm hoping it's going to climb up this metal frame that was here when we moved in. I have a feeling they wanted to do a bigger version of the little mini office, but maybe with permitting or something like that, they had to do it smaller. But I'm using this frame to kind of grow the roses up. And then over on the other side, I have my pink honeysuckle that's growing up this side, which is very fun as well. Unfortunately, this pink honeysuckle is not as fragrant as Hall's Japonica honeysuckle, but it's a little bit more tame. It doesn't get quite as crazy as the Hall's Japonica, but that's okay. This also is in a little bit more shade with the Chinese pistache tree, so I got to give it, you know, I'm just happy that it's growing at least, and it's getting close to the top of the metal, so happy about that. Back here is kind of my dirty potting area. It's a place that I can pot up plants and start seeds and make a complete mess, and then just blow off this little area back here. And I just think that everybody needs to have a dirty potting area. A potting area that you don't care if you get it messy. You know, we all need a spot like that. So this is definitely my spot. And then here, this is my little frog wildlife pond, and it's been quite a success. I still have a lot of work that I need to do with it. I need to get more rocks. My friend has some rocks that she's giving me. I just have to go pick them up. But guys can see that I have tadpoles galore in here. Oh my gosh, so many tadpoles everywhere. So they are going to start growing, and I'm going to have even more frogs in my garden, which a lot of you know I do not like frogs, but I know how good they are. I know that they're a good thing. They eat slugs and snails and bugs and all that kind of stuff. So I know it's a good thing to have them in the garden. But yeah, I'm going to have a ton of frogs. I wanted to show you guys this Bad Hair Day Mondo grass. I got this from Isley, and it's blooming. I did not know that it would bloom, but it's really, really pretty. Quite an interesting plant. So anyway, this is from Isley, and it's called Bad Hair Day. And then coming over here, we have our chicken coop with our chickens in there. It's such a good place to have the chicken coop because they don't get too hot because they have some shade from the Chinese pistache and the olive tree right here. And then this is kind of my dappled shade area where I have some hostas and I have asparagus ferns. And I actually transplanted some primrose from my winter annual color. They are barely hanging on, but I'm going to leave them here and see if they'll start flushing out once the weather gets a little bit cooler. So I still have a lot of work to do in this area, but it's kind of nice to have an area of dappled shade. This is probably the most sun it gets all day. This is morning sun, and you can see the sun is kind of coming in that way, but as soon as the sun gets higher, then it's completely dappled through the leaves of the Chinese pistache, which is why these hostas are so happy here. All right, then coming over here, these are my Vigo raised beds. These are the olive green color. I love them, and I'm sure you can see the most beautiful thing that's going on over here. So these beds, the back two beds definitely get some really nice afternoon shade, which is in my climate in Northern California, zone 9B, where we get really hot. Having a place that gets morning sun and afternoon shade is gold. So you can see these two raised beds here. They have this beautiful morning sun, and then again probably around noon it's all dappled afternoon shade. And so this is a place that I can plant hydrangeas, and this is a quick fire fab hydrangea. It is so beautiful, and it makes me want more hydrangeas in my garden, but because all the trees that I have in my garden are so young, I don't really have enough places to plant panicle hydrangeas like this. I have other places that I can plant oak leaf hydrangeas, but panicles need a little bit more shade, I think, but it is still so beautiful. Oh, I am so happy with it. I actually put this plant and that plant, my geranium matarense, in here as just temporary storage. This is a place, and then kind of back there where you can see my Korean maple. This is a place that I'll put plants that are kind of suffering a little bit, just to kind of hold them over until I can find a good place for them. And now I'm so happy with this hydrangea right here. I kind of don't want to move it, which is the exact same story that my flowering maple. This is my Victorian lady flowering maple. Look at how beautiful this is. I just put it in this this in this bed temporarily, and then it just is absolutely thriving on these Vigo arches, and I just can't bring myself to move it. I'm just going to leave it here. And like, as of right now, I kind of want to leave the Quickfire Fab there, because look at how good these two look together, which is so funny because these raised beds were supposed to be like for cut flowers or for veggies or for something like that. But of course it's getting taken over by landscape plants. They're just so very pretty. I love them. The Geranium Matarense, I assumed that it was going to bloom in May, and it didn't bloom in May. So I'm watching it very closely, and I'm hoping it'll bloom. The bloom stalks from this, it's one big umbel of blooms. It's really, really gorgeous, and I am just waiting patiently for this thing to bloom. I can't wait. And then I'm going to let it go to seed, and I hope it sets seeds all over here. I think it'll be really fun. I do have some Seascape strawberries right here, and then I have more Seascape strawberries there. We've been eating off of them. I've been giving them to the chickens. I've been giving them to the bunnies. Everybody loves them. And then I have a whole bunch of tomato volunteers that I'm kind of leaving there because I might as well. I don't have anything else going on here. And then I did plant one of my favorite tomatoes, a sun gold tomato, that I need to stake up. I need to put on a tomato cage very like today, basically. This grew like a foot overnight, it feels like, and I even have a little fruit on it. So you can see I am not a veggie gardener, but I do like my token tomato, and I probably want to get a basil or something like that. So I have plenty of room right here, and it is definitely something that I like having in my garden. My friend Raphael, or the same guy who gave me the eucalyptus, he gave me this aeonium out of his garden, Park Winners. If you guys haven't been to Park Winners, it is a beautiful, beautiful garden, and you can go there, cut your own bouquet, and you can walk around the gardens. And he gave me this, which I've been wanting one of these for a really long time. So I just put it in here temporarily as it grows. These are so easy to propagate. You basically just cut a piece off and stick it down into the ground. So I'm hoping to grow a lot more of these for my garden because I just think they're absolutely beautiful. And then last but not least, I'll show you all this area. Again, this is kind of our working area. So you can see there's a lot of work going on, things that we're doing. But in front of the metal workshop, I have my 3 containers here. They're looking okay. I put unplugged white salvia in them, and it's a little too tall for these guys. They're kind of falling over, and they looked really good when they first started growing. I have to come in and I have to cut these containers back, just like I did with my hanging baskets in the front yard, because they're getting a little crazy right now. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut all these way back, fertilize them really well, and kind of let them grow back. It's just that time of year that you need to cut these crazy containers back. Then I wanted to show you all over here. This is a little garden bed that I haven't put much thought or time into, but you can see what is so beautiful. My Daisy May Shasta daisies are just going absolutely crazy. This is one of my favorite plants. When I showed these the other day in a video, somebody said they look fake, and that is the perfect way to describe them. They look absolutely fake. They're gorgeous. So beautiful. And then in front of that, I planted a new to me plant that I've never tried before. I see a weed that I'm going to grab. These are called pink mulla mulla, or Telotus blooms. And they're so interesting. They're native to Australia. I think they're so gorgeous. I wanted to try them out in my garden and see how they do. This is called the Matilda variety, and they're really, really beautiful. Behind that, I have some Coreopsis. Yeah, did I say that right? Why does that not sound like a word to me? This is Beyond Midnight right here. And then I thought this one was having a lot of chlorosis issues, but a lot of you told me that there's a variety of Coreopsis that that is normally this color. It was like a sunshine something. So that might be what's going on here, but I'm not totally sure. It could be a plant that was mislabeled and sent to me. But see, after I already fertilized it, the leaves are starting to turn back green a little bit. So I don't know. I'll watch it and I will let you all know kind of what's going on with that. We haven't amended the soil in this area at all, and the soil is not very nice, so I can kind of understand why a plant would be struggling, but why this plant is struggling, and then the same one, the same variety right next to it is not struggling. That's what I'm not totally sure of. All right, so that is it for my June back garden tour. Got a lot of fun stuff going on. It is just that peak time of year where everything is looking so beautiful, specifically all of my cut flowers here. Oh my goodness, it's every morning I wake up and I look out here and I just think it is just so very gorgeous. So I hope you all enjoyed this. Again, if you haven't seen my front garden tour, go watch that right now. I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.